For over 150 years, Boulder, Colorado has been known as a college town. But that changed this weekend. Let's talk all about it.
Buff Nation.
Let's go.
Welcome into Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. It's DNVR Buffs Prime Time, presented by Illegal Pete's.
As I said, Jake, for 150 years, more than 150 years, Boulder, Colorado has been known as a college town.
Yep.
But thanks to the efforts of Buff Nation and everyone who was involved this weekend, it is no longer a college town. It is now a college football town.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
What an unbelievable showing from this fan base, from this community, from the local businesses, from Laura Levy and Matt H. and Jake Schwanitz and Mad Titan and just all of the different people in this community who stepped up this weekend. We talked about this, I think, on Thursday. And I said, other than Coach Prime, our greatest asset is this community.
Yep.
Let's show it off this weekend for these official visitors, of course, headlined by JuJu Lewis. And honestly, Jake, I never could have dreamed of the way that this community and the people of Boulder and the fan base stepped up. From the sink, having the JuJu's Precision Pass Burger.
Yep.
From the Boulder Theater, putting a message. The Boulder Theater, like, it's kind of like a prestigious institution in Boulder. Putting a message up for JuJu, let's make history. From all of the people who showed up on Saturday morning to show the love to those recruits who I know saw it, it was a remarkable thing, a one-of-one weekend that I don't think has honestly ever been seen in college football. It was a special, special thing that I think we will legitimately look back on for a long, long time and say, that was the time, that was the moment when Boulder, Colorado became a college football town.
Yep. This weekend, we're going to recap the whole weekend, but Saturday was the feeling that I've been talking about since December about how you can feel it coming with this team. It was that feeling put into action. That's exactly what it was. The support from not only everyone that showed up, but support online. Of course, Laura, Matt H., all these people, Mad Titan, like, shout out to some of the diehards, too, who came out and hung out with us on Saturday. We did the damn thing.
We did the damn thing, and we flexed the power of this community, which is obviously, like, my favorite part. That's like my love story with all of this, is the community that surrounds this team, this university, this fan base. It was really, really cool to see. My only regret is that I couldn't be there.
Yeah.
On Saturday, but just being a part of it was just special, I think, for anyone who loves this team. And of course, anytime that you do something that makes news at Colorado with Coach Prime here, there's going to be detractors. But I loved reading all of the people who were hating on it, because the jealousy that was just exuding off of them was so obvious. You know, I saw Auburn fans saying, we've got 15 restaurants that could name a burger after you, and this, that, and the other. And it's like, he was there last weekend.
Yeah, why didn't you do it then?
Where was it?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
where was your fan meetup?
The creativity, the execution, all of it. It was just the beginning to me, honestly. And that's something that I also think we'll look back long from now, is like, this was just the start. This was just the first time we've ever tried something like this. There will be bigger moments, bigger crowds, bigger movements, but this was special. This was unique, and I loved seeing people try to take away from it because you know that they wish they thought of it first, and that was a beautiful thing. And on top of all that, Jake, from everything I heard, the impact was felt.
The impact was definitely felt.
And the impact has already been felt with Chauncey Gooden, who we'll talk about a little bit. But that's a huge commitment.
Of course.
Literally and figuratively. But with JuJu Lewis specifically, the crown jewel of this recruiting class, it was felt, appreciated, and it made a giant impact. We'll see what ends up happening, but I said this last week. I was like, this could be a moment where we level up as a fan base. We did. Regardless of what happens, this was a moment in time that will be remembered as a leveling up of Colorado football fans, and I'm just so proud of everyone.
Same, man. Buff Nation solidified themselves as a force this weekend, nationwide. Let's get into the whole thing. And we already start with some speculation. On Thursday night, Julian Lewis posts the lion on Twitter. What do you think that meant?
My first thought was like, lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep.
True.
But I don't see the Colorado connection there. So what did you think it meant?
I mean, you may think that I dug into it too much. I just tried to look at it for what it was.
We like reading between the lines here.
I just looked at it for what it was. It was a lion sitting on top of what looked like at least a perch, maybe a mountain, either pondering or surveying his kingdom. That's what it looked like to me.
I love it. I love it. You see all that, JuJu? Everywhere that the light touches is yours.
Exactly. What other campus can you go on top of the mountain and look over the whole university in town?
I love it. I love it. I love where your mind took it.
That's immediately what I thought of.
Perfect.
So that happens. JuJu shows up Thursday night. And then, we wake up Friday, or he leaves on Friday, sorry. But Friday, we get the sync post. The sync creates the JuJu burger, and that takes off like wildfire.
Absolutely. And again, it's like the whole nation was watching this.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine the people who were, USC, Auburn, even Indiana fans were just seeing this like, and there's just, you have no control over it. You're just like, oh man, this is big. I mean, every national recruiting outlet picked it up. There was an ESPN alert sent out about it. It truly took over the college football landscape for that night.
And then everyone started to show up. Not just JuJu, Chauncey Gooden, of course, who is a Buff now. He is committed. Quinell Farrakhan, who's telling Buffs fans to go follow him on IG. So go do that right now.
Yep.
We kind of know what that means.
Power of the community. Go follow.
Corbin Leisure and then Montrez Walker were the 5 confirmed before the visit. Then it comes out that Alex Graham, he committed on the day of the spring game, I believe, or the day before.
Yep.
4-star corner out of IMG, was also in Boulder. And then
he rang the Alex Graham bell.
Yes, he did. But that's 3 commits. That's 3 prior commits that they brought in on OVs.
Yep.
They pulled out all the stops this weekend.
Oh, and that was just the beginning.
That was just the beginning. And then there was one more guy. I'm trying to find his name here. My apologies.
Was it Evan Haynes?
Was that who it was?
I know he was on a visit this weekend.
So then there's the 7. They show up Friday, it's kind of buzzing then. But then Saturday's Operation Next.
Which that caught on well, the name.
Yeah.
Take us there, dude. Take us inside. What was it like?
Again, it was just electric. Just being in Boulder is electric at this point in time. So everyone starts showing up. I got there early. There's maybe just a handful of people there. But then as time went on, more and more people started showing up. And it was everyone. It was Laura. It was me, Mad Titan. But then there's like longtime Buff fans, diehards that are there who have watched this program go through all this pain, everything that's happened the last 20 or so years. And then there's incoming freshmen who are showing up, like new students showing up. Like, it was everyone. It was crazy. There were signs, there were chants. We didn't really see anything. And then, we felt like we did our part. We all kind of parted, and then it started going crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, from my perspective and from the people I talked to, I know you guys didn't get to lay eyes on Julian Lewis.
We did not.
He absolutely saw you guys.
I think he did,
and
yes.
all of the, and not just him, but all of the players who were there got to see what was happening out there. The signs, I talked about bringing signs, how cool that would be. It looked like, college game day. Like, everyone had a sign.
Yeah, shout out to Laura. She's the one who printed the signs. And then Jake from the Folsom Frenzy podcast literally just made a bunch of signs, showed up with a stack of them, and just started passing them out.
Yeah, amazing. Great job by everyone. And yeah, it did not go unnoticed, to tell you that.
And then Peggy gets involved again. Laura posts a picture of Peggy with the "We Want JuJu" sign.
Yep.
I don't know, outside of Peggy's home or wherever they were, but Peggy was very involved. Shortly after that, on Saturday, JuJu responds to the fans. Just fire emojis.
Yep. Again, letting everyone know that he saw what was up. He appreciated it. He loved it. You also skipped over, I think it was Friday night. It was Saturday night and you were getting there, but Cam Michael posting hopping on JuJu's live on IG. Showing that he was doing his best work here.
That was electric. That was a little preview at the photo shoot, which we will get to. But JuJu responding to the fans, he didn't respond to anyone else, any other fan base. Did he?
I didn't see that.
Go look through it. He hasn't.
Okay.
He responds to like other recruits, I'm sure, guys that he knows and stuff, but this is the first time I think he's addressed really a fan base and one that really wants him, obviously.
Yep.
Then the Boulder Theater marquee goes up on Saturday night. We know that the recruits are out in Boulder doing their thing or whatever. Some people were out there taking pictures and stuff, but the Boulder marquee was really like the cherry on top of everything that night.
Yeah, and like for those of you who haven't been to Boulder or just aren't as familiar with, the way it is, like the Sink is probably the most famous restaurant in Boulder. Put it up there with Pasta J's. Yeah, absolutely a Boulder institution. A place where like Robert Redford worked when he went to CU. Yeah. It's been there for forever. I've never once, and this is not, I could have missed it, but I've never seen the Sink get involved in recruiting. Get involved in promoting the football program other than just your classic, like, wishing them well or whatever.
Right, yeah.
That was shocking to me and was so exciting. And then the Boulder Theater, like, I don't know exactly how to put it into words, but like the Boulder Theater feels so separate from Colorado football. Like, it's a very I don't know. It's obviously a concert venue, whatever, but it just feels like it's its own thing. It's down on Pearl Street. It's been there for forever. It's hosted some incredible artists, all that stuff. Like, I would have just never, if you asked me a million times, maybe the Fox, that's on the hill, whatever, I would have seen that. Like, seeing the Boulder Theater do that, it was just like, oh man, like everyone caught wind of this. It's truly a movement. Like, that one hit me harder than any of the other stuff. It was just like, holy shit. The Boulder Theater is like in on the movement.
Yep. And then social media starts freaking out on Saturday. USC fans, CSU fans, Nebraska. I mean, name a fan base. They were freaking out.
Yep.
Because they saw what was coming.
Honestly, one of my favorite parts of this whole thing was Nebraska and CSU fans trying to like involve themselves in this.
Yep.
And honestly, to me, it's because there was nothing else to talk about in the college football world.
Nope.
I don't think anyone knows about a player that visited any other school except for fans of that school who knew what their visitor list is.
And there were big OVs going around across the country.
It completely swept the college football nation. And so like Nebraska and CSU fans had no choice but to like chime in and start running their mouths. And it was the same thing I was saying about people who are trying to detract from the fans being up there. It was like, oh, the jealousy was just so evident.
Yep.
It was a beautiful thing.
The USC freak out too.
Yes.
A lot of coping.
Meltdown, talking about who their next quarterback is.
Already saying, we don't want JuJu.
Yeah, we don't even want him if he's doing this. Like, oh, that's chef's kiss.
Yep. All right, let's continue recapping the weekend after this break.
By the way, then that's also when the JuJu and Peggy picture dropped.
Yes, yep. Coach Riz got to meet Peggy this weekend too.
Yep.
Peggy loves this stuff.
Oh my God.
She eats it up.
Yeah, I won't even get into the people trying to like talk shit about Peggy.
I mean, that should just tell you alone right
Yes.
there where we're at.
Tells you a lot about those people.
Shout out to our friends over at Lucy Nicotine. Nicotine pouches. There's a big one that is in the news lately. Mostly because they are unavailable. So if you were on the search, hit up our friends over at Lucy. It's 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco free. They got their pouches, gum, and their notable breakers.
Yes.
Have you tried them yet?
I haven't tried the breakers yet. I feel like that's it's like a step that I haven't taken yet. But Lucy obviously was kind enough to send us a care package.
Yes.
When we started this deal, and I'm now out. So it's time to explore some new horizons. I think I am going to try the breakers.
There you go. They got a bunch of different flavors, bunch of different nicotine amounts as well. Use the promo code BUFFS at lucy.co/buffs and use that promo code BUFFS to get 20% off your first order. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co and use code BUFFS, BUFFS, to get 20% off and always free shipping. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning: this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Order is age verified.
One last thing on Lucy. Every little can has a little like a little disposal. If you're not like near a trash can or whatever.
Yep.
A nice little touch by them.
Yep.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Vestibule, who are giving you a chance to quite literally invest in your favorite athletes. And it starts with their first client, Baron Browning of the Denver Broncos, who has a chance to make some serious money in a contract year this year. He's shown flashes of a guy who could be a dominant pass rusher. And if you want to bet on him becoming a dominant pass rusher, you can do it over at Vestibule, where you can eventually make a small percentage of his future earnings if you invest in Baron Browning. His IPO is live right now, and shares are available for purchase, but they are limited, so go download the Vestibule app now and check it out.
Did you get the Husker fan out of here, Alyssa?
Not yet.
Thanks for the view, though.
Yeah, I appreciate you. All right.
We play for clicks.
So after Twitter freaks out, it's Sunday morning. Chauncey's already saying there's going to be an announcement, and then the photo drops.
The photo. Nothing else needs to be said.
I mean, just your reaction when you saw it.
Just honestly, my first thought was just like, how good is the team up in Boulder?
Elite.
At coming up with these types of things. And I don't know whose idea it was or how the execution of it happened, but the idea of JuJu sitting on the throne with Shedeur there, handing over the keys, is just perfect. And then not only does JuJu post it with could it be, well, first on his IG he said perfect timing.
Yep.
And then on Twitter he said could it be perfect timing. And then Shedeur posts it with the music underneath it. If we locked in, ain't no switching up. Hell of a tease. Hell of a tease from Shedeur.
That photo is going to go down in recruiting picture history.
Oh, yeah.
In OV history, and probably in Buff history as well.
Very well could.
Then Chauncey Gooden commits to Colorado. A massive addition to this 2025 recruiting class. Chauncey Gooden from Lipscomb Academy in Nashville, Tennessee. 6'4", 320, 247 Sports Composite 4-star. 313th overall player, 19th overall interior offensive lineman. And he said he was 10,000 million bajillion % committed. There were a lot of zeros on that post. I don't know. I don't know the actual number. Huge.
Absolutely huge. And now you just like start to imagine the offensive line that's building, and you know, Coach Prime just killing one narrative after another about high school recruiting and this, that, and the other. And now we've always talked about this, Jake, about how when Coach Prime got here, he had no choice but to build through the portal.
Yes.
It's the only way to win now with a 1-11 roster. But we always said there will be a time when he starts being able to recruit for the future as well. And you can play the now game and the future game at the same time when you don't have such a need at every position right now. And this weekend, I feel like, was a huge shift in that as well. In Colorado now stocking up for the future. It lined up well with the whole idea that Joel Klatt, which everyone's talked to Coach Prime about this a million times, but the whole NFL thing, Coach Prime shuts it down, says he wants to be known as Coach Prime. He wants to be here. He wants to dominate.
Yep.
And I think it lines up well with the amount of effort they put into the high school recruiting this weekend. And Josh Newberg, who I thought gave a very nice shout out to the city and the community of Buffs fans, also mentioned that Coach Prime on the visit assured JuJu that he's here for the long run. And I think that this high school recruiting wave that's coming in shows you that now he's Coach Prime a lot more comfortable with the idea of starting to stack talent for the future, not just the immediate. And that doesn't mean that Chauncey Gooden can't come in and start at guard next year because he's that talented.
Right.
But there's something to be said about turning a larger focus towards high school recruiting as a greater thought for not just now, but the future.
It's what Corey talked about when we had him last week or 2 weeks ago. They were not in a position to bring in 30 high school kids.
Of course not.
The team they took over was completely devoid of talent. Like, you could have brought in 30 high school kids and we'd be waiting, another year maybe.
I wanted to actually talk about this when we had Corey on, but it was just like a long enough story that I didn't want to take away from just letting him and Malika cook. But John Embry, when he was hired at Colorado, immediately made an impact in high school recruiting. He was a great recruiter, so was Eric Bieniemy. That was kind of like their calling card. That's why they were taken from CU to go to UCLA and then taken back to lead the program. They immediately they got multiple 4-star corners, some good young offensive linemen, and what happened was, because the talent level was so low of the team they took over, they had to start those guys immediately.
Yes.
And so you throw out 17, 18-year-old kids hoping they're like ready to turn around your program. And unfortunately, it failed miserably. Yeah. They weren't ready. There was a young corner by the name of Yuri Wright. He came in at like 155 pounds. He wasn't ready to compete at this level, even though he was a talented kid. It wasn't good for the players and their development. It wasn't good for the team. And what happens? John Embry gets fired almost immediately.
Yep.
And it's just like that. That's what happens if you rely on high school recruiting too early. Now, unfortunately for Embo, he didn't have the transfer portal abilities, not only just from the NCAA and the rules, but also from Colorado and their restrictions on what transfers could come in. But like, that's the other side of it. So this is why Coach Prime couldn't come in and just take 30 high school kids and expect them to go turn around the team immediately.
And what we're seeing this offseason with the veteran presence and that leadership, like, these are transfers brought in who are bringing that, Khalil, Justin, Nakai, and not even mentioning, Shedeur, Shiloh, like the other veterans that they were able to get through the portal when Coach Prime was just hired over a year ago. Like, that's something you completely miss out on if you just bring in recruiting classes and freshmen. Like, they're going to have to learn all that on the fly, and they don't have anyone to really lean on to show them the way, basically. And now at Colorado, the blueprint is there for the future, and it's because of these players that were brought in via the portal who are older.
Yep. One thing I think that's just important to note about the Shedeur picture is how much JuJu appreciates and respects and looks up to Shedeur.
Yes.
A big part of it. And I don't know how other programs are, but I kind of feel like not every team's star quarterback is helping with recruiting in this way.
Right.
So just a credit to Shedeur, who obviously has built a great relationship with JuJu, that he's talked about that a lot. But I think there's some people like kind of trying to push the idea that like Shedeur was trying to make it about himself. Like, couldn't be further from the truth.
Stuff just makes me laugh now.
Yeah, exactly. But like, those two have a great relationship and friendship, and there's a reason why they took that picture together.
Right. So Chauncey Gooden commits. That is now him, including the 3 prior commits. It's 4 players from this visit who are now Buffs, who are ready to commit and sign on the dotted line, hopefully, when we get there. And then the Carrollton pipeline. That's the next part of this.
Let's go.
We've talked I think we mentioned Ryan Mosley. He's one of the top receivers at Carrollton.
Mm-hmm.
He was offered, I want to say it was last week or 2 weeks ago. But we got another one over the weekend. I just lost my spot. But it's JuJu center from Carrollton. Zeke Helton. 2026 four-star offensive lineman. Again, JuJu center. But we're starting to see, a pipeline.
Yeah, absolutely.
True pipeline.
True pipeline. Anytime you can lay down roots in the state of Georgia, you do so. I know we had the guys on and had them debating whether the best players come from Texas, Georgia, Florida. Alabama has their hat in that ring. Give me them all.
Yeah.
Any pipelines we can have into those states. Colorado obviously has made their hay for a long time in Texas and California, but there's absolutely no reason in 2024 that you can't recruit the entire country. And Coach Prime has done an amazing job of that. But like a powerhouse like Carrollton in the state of Georgia, you want that pipeline. You want all those pipelines.
Yep. I mean, the IMG one is already pretty solid at this point. Looks like they're working on I think it's West Bloomfield, the Michigan pipeline where Brandon Davis Swain was from. Now Carrollton, Georgia. What's next? Did CU do enough to flip JuJu Lewis from USC to Colorado?
I think so.
I agree. I think so too.
I think so. And there's more that goes into it than a visit. But Josh Newberg also had pointed out that from what he's hearing, Colorado can compete with Auburn from an NIL perspective, which obviously they would have probably the edge of all the teams that are involved when it comes to an NIL donor base. So that part sounds like that box is checked. It's funny because this was after we did all this, but I spoke with someone who has a relationship with JuJu, but also who they told me they spoke with someone else who said that when they were hanging out with JuJu recently, they felt like community support was one of the biggest things for him.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know that when we started talking about all this, all the stuff that happened this weekend and hopefully putting that together. But it just feels like it was kind of like the stars aligned.
That's exactly what it is, man.
Yeah. It really feels like we talked about JuJu's, skills in front of the camera and the fact that he's been in the spotlight for so long. He's built for that part of this job. The fact that community support did mean something to him. Early playing time means something to him. Leaving his own legacy means something to him. All of that. And then you throw in probably the most important part, which is the relationship with the coach. From everything that I've heard, the relationship not just between JuJu, but between his father, TC, and Coach Prime is incredible, fantastic, whatever. And it's just like, check, 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 check. You go on down the list. So who knows what happens. Recruiting is a wild card type of thing. But I really do feel like Colorado nailed every single aspect of this and have put themselves in a really, really great position to end up with the number one quarterback in the country.
You didn't mention the NIL aspect about it too.
Well, I did briefly, but
like of course he's a quarterback. NIL is going to be involved in his recruitment. But the way he looks at NIL is literally how Colorado has their foundations for NIL. How it's about the NFL, not NIL. The opportunities are going to be available for you. You just got to go take them here at Colorado. We've got the two highest paid football players in terms of NIL valuation, according to On3 in the country, in Travis and Shedeur. And that's because of the opportunities that Coach Prime and this university allows you to really just go through, participate in, or choose to do or not.
And their money isn't coming from some fan who's running the collective, who's pitching them a number. And I think that matters in recruiting in the sense of when you're talking NIL with Colorado, sure, they'll tell you about what the collective can do for you. And we're going to be able to compete in those conversations or, especially we're trying to get better and better, always talking about 54-30 collective and trying to, fund that.
Yeah.
But there's something a lot more real about when you talk about the relationships that you have with Gatorade and Mercedes and Nike and Louis and Google and KFC. Those are real things. Like, as much as we've heard horror stories about NIL collectives pulling the rug out from players and how much money, literally just last year with Florida and Jaden Rashada and everything that went down there. Like, we're not hearing that about Google, how the check didn't clear when they sent it to Shedeur Sanders.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's got to be comforting for a player who knows that he's going to be on the largest stage. Like, real brands are going to want to collaborate with JuJu Lewis if he's the heir to the throne.
Yes, exactly.
And that is a lot more calculable and a lot more real than just some guy that you've never met before telling you about how much money they'd be willing to pay you if you come here.
Right. All right, shout out to our friends over at Bet365, the GOATs. There are a lot of Colorado lines out there right now that you can take advantage of, whether it's CFP, Big 12 title game. There's some game spreads up there too. And I think the Buffs are dogs in almost every game that has an early spread up.
Yep, except for North Dakota State.
Except for North Dakota State, of course. But with our friends at Bet365, if you sign up with the code DNVR365, all you need to do is deposit $10, and you can get in on their bet and get offer. Place a bet of $5 or more. Whether it wins or loses, after that bet clears, you'll get $150 available in bonus bets in your account. You must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Also, shout out to True Fan Travel, who is going to be putting on our trips this year. And our main trip, of course, on this show is our trip to Nebraska, to Lincoln, to go see the Buffs beat down on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And you can join us and talk to anyone who went to TCU last year. It is worth it. We have a lot of fun together. So you can stay at the same hotel as us. You'll tailgate with us. You'll sit in the stadium with me at the game. It's going to be really, really awesome. It's in my opinion, so far, the best way to experience a road game if you're doing it. So go to truefantravel.com/trips to book your spot today and be on the lookout for more road trips brought to you by True Fan Travel. Also, Jake, got a little visit news here.
Yeah?
I'm going to send you a screenshot of this because we need to hear you pronounce this name.
Oh, my God, bro.
From Steve Wilfong.
Oh, bro. That's not real.
Read the tweet.
Is this a real Steve Wilfong account?
It's got the little on3 thing next to it.
How is that name coming up right now?
What is it?
All right, I'll just pronounce it. Hawktua. Spatanotang.
Oh my God. No, that's not
This
real.
is not real. There's no way.
I had Yaya make that.
What reason I stuck around this long? I wondered what you were doing here.
The correct pronunciation was Hawktua Spatanatang.
Tell me it doesn't look real.
I'm so sad that you recognized it before he went into it. I was hoping he would just read it like Ron Burgundy off the teleprompter.
No, I actually, this is one of the few things that I actually cared enough to Google and find out what's going on with it this weekend.
That one did sweep the nation. I was worried that it might be a little too mainstream at this point. The tweet that I sent that Yaya made is a perfect Steve Wilfong tweet. It says, Birmingham High School
what the
on
hell?
3 top 300 tight end Hawktua Spatanatang is set to visit Colorado this weekend. Buffs are making a strong push for one of the top tight ends in the nation.
Oh, man.
Good recognition, though.
Thank you. Oh, my God. Oh, wow.
Alyssa, no one else knew that was coming. It was just me and Yaya. Oh, I have a headache from laughing.
Alyssa about fell out of her chair there.
All right. We can move on now.
Our interview on Friday with Camden.
Yes.
Buff Nation loved it. It was a great time. I told you guys Camden absolutely crushed it. I guess he had really one quote that kind of went viral on Twitter, and that was the one where he was saying, I want these journalists and people who have questions about the program to come to me.
Yep. And it won't ever happen.
No.
But it was a great, message coming from the program of,
Yeah.
at least do us the decency of reaching out before you publish this stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a quote from Camden every time.
Right.
But he can also, help be a connector between, hey, we want to talk to Charlie or we want to talk to Trevor Woods, whoever it may be. He can help with that. And I really hope someone somewhere takes it to heart and hears that message and uses it, because like we mentioned with him, it's one of those things that is supposed to be a common courtesy of journalism. If you're writing a story about someone or something, you owe them the decency of giving them an opportunity to comment on it.
Yeah.
So whether it's Coach Prime or Camden or Trevor Woods or Charlie Offerdahl or Shedeur or Shiloh, you at least owe them the decency of saying, hey, I have someone who said this about you. I want to see if you have a response. And honestly, I wouldn't blame, let's just say it's about Shedeur. I wouldn't blame Shedeur if he says no.
Sure.
I'm not giving you a quote for your article just so you can get more clicks. And then Shedeur can just address it on his own platforms or on Well Off or with us or whoever it may be. But it is common decency to do that. And so I appreciated Camden getting that message out there.
I mean, that's what his role is all about as the governor. And that's what, he's going to crush this role. He's the most popular long snapper in the country. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
No, I don't think anyone knows the name of any other long
No
snapper.
one, absolutely not. He also spoke about, because this guy's been here since 2021. That was his redshirt season. He's kind of seen, he saw the first transfer portal exodus under Carl Durrell, right? And then he saw it go to another level, and all of a sudden in 2022, they're one of the worst teams in the country. He sticks through it with Coach Prime. He stays with the program, fights his ass off, earns his spot on the team. And he talks about the energy in the building, how it's something that they needed. And it's something that Corey talked about it. We talk about it all the time. You could feel it when you're in Boulder.
Absolutely. It's special. I honestly don't think I can handle the comments right now.
You did this to yourself,
so
bro.
Distracted.
You did this to yourself.
I'm so distracted. I'm trying so hard not to start laughing again. The energy up there is unmatched. This weekend was a whole other chapter in that saga. But the way that these players are supporting each other, supporting each other's causes, going out, hanging out together, doing the charity work that they did this weekend with Children's Hospital, it's just really, really special. And it's what I said to, Corey about just how I've been around this program for a long, long time. I've seen them win. I've seen them lose. I've seen everything in between. I've never seen the energy that they have right now, the hospitality, the vibes, the feeling that surrounds that building.
Definitely. And the governor does have 2 more years, so he will be back next year if he so chooses. We already talked about the NIL stuff. Just anything else from this weekend, or because there's so much.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that we didn't cover in terms of just seeing different content that came out. There was another sick picture of Chauncey with JuJu.
Oh, Mantrez's pictures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They did. And so Mantrez's were very obvious, recreating Coach Prime on the draft couch on draft night.
Yeah.
Celebrating. Not as many people picked up on JuJu doing the Coach Prime uni layout.
Oh, yeah.
So that's, he used to always do that before every game, lay out his entire swag and just be visualize it on the ground there. And JuJu did that one as well. Another just great idea. I assume that came from the creative team at CU of just how can we make unique, I don't know what you saw, make you cool and unique recruiting pictures that no one else is doing.
Yeah.
Look, CU started the Lambo wave. Now everyone in the country has Lambos at every official visit.
Yep.
Which, total side note, but when Texas did it, people were like so mad about it because they're like, we're just giving these kids Lambos now, this, that. And it was like, that is not what's happening here.
People are so damn dumb.
Yeah, they really
It's
are.
crazy.
But anyway, CU started the Lambos and the cars for visits, the Gucci bags, the Louis bags, all of that stuff. Now everyone else is copying that. So they're like, we got to be a step ahead. We got to start the new wave. No one can copy the Coach Prime pictures.
Yep.
It's like, it's one of those things. It's like, you own that.
Yeah.
No one can try and steal this from you now.
Yep. I guess I do have something else because Chauncey, he went on IG Live right after he committed today, and he said something that I thought was pretty powerful. He said, if you're a Colorado recruit and you ain't committed here yet, I'm coming for you.
Hell yeah. I saw that.
I mean, this is what happens when turns into a player-led program.
Yep.
The guys who come in on visits are going to notice that. They're going to embrace that. They're going to take it in when they commit, and they're going to take it upon themselves to be the next in that line to be the players leading this program.
A lot of people, I guess, just spend a lot of time on YouTube and not the other social medias asking where they can find these pictures. Instagram, Twitter. Instagram's probably the easiest. You can like go to JuJu's Instagram and see it. You can go to Shedeur's Instagram and see it. You can go to Chauncey's Instagram and see it. So that would probably be the best place to go. Also, our thumbnail today is the picture that we were talking about. So if you just look at
that is the picture.
The picture.
Yeah.
If you just look at that, then you'll get a good idea of what they were doing. Oh, one more thing on this. I tried to reach out to someone to find out the answer to this. I didn't get an answer, so I'm just going to have to speculate.
Okay.
A lot of questions about the Pac-12 patch still being on the uniforms. Bless you. I think it has to do with contractual obligations and when the contract expires, et cetera.
That, and I think they don't want to show the new uniforms yet.
Yeah, but they could also just take the Pac-12 patch off or just put a Big 12 patch on the old uniforms. But I noticed Washington has the same thing.
Yep.
Oregon has the same thing. So I'm guessing it's contractual, where they're not officially out of those contracts yet, so they can't put a different logo on the unis.
Right. Oh, man, this program, where we are at right now, just look back a year and a half from now from where we started. It's pretty remarkable, honestly.
It really is. And I think the last thing I'll say as it relates to JuJu, unless there's questions about it, which I'm sure there are, is every single year, Coach Prime has pulled off landing one of the top recruits in the country.
Yes, he has.
Whether it was Travis, Cormani, Jordan Seaton, and the next one would be JuJu.
Yeah.
He has never gone without landing someone that turned everyone's heads, and I have a feeling they're going to be able to pull it off again.
And also, we're just getting started with this 2025 class. Like, these are summer visits, man. Just wait till the players start coming for games.
Yep.
And then we have, hopefully we're still playing and practicing in December, but that time to have people come in before signing day, early signing day, like, this is just the start for this 2025 class.
Absolutely. And if JuJu commits, and by the way, he said that because I saw this as a question as well, he said that he wants to do it before his football season starts.
Yes.
So that would be late August.
It's next month or so.
Yeah. If that happens, the floodgates will absolutely open when it comes to this recruiting class, and the Buffs will have a real chance to have a top 5, if not the best class in the country.
Look, I don't want to get too into it right now, but you've seen the decommitments coming from USC. You see this Carrollton pipeline potentially forming here at CU. A JuJu commitment would flip the 2025 class for all of college football on its head.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it.
Someone asked where the Alex Graham pictures were. Just keep an eye on social. I don't think we've seen a lot of the guys, a handful of them. Corbin just posted his today.
Okay.
So you just got to keep an eye on. They'll come out over time. To questions we go.
And real quick, before we jump into questions, just want to give a shout out to my guy, Chris Spomer, who put on the golf tournament up there in Fort Lupton this weekend and invited me, along with many other great people, to participate in it. Second year I've gone to the event. Absolute great event. Chris, big Buffs fan. A lot of big Buffs fans out there. And I believe Jace Feely, who played in the tournament, I believe his team won. So congrats to Jace. And I think he also won the long drive competition.
Yeah.
So he's a hell of a golfer, clearly. Can absolutely hit the piss out of the ball because I saw where that stake was. Mm-hmm. Unbelievably deep. But anyways, just wanted to say thank you. An incredible event. And shout out to Weld Central High School Athletics, who was the beneficiary of that tournament.
Shout out to Mad Titan Gaming. Great to meet
And
you
shout out
this
to my
weekend,
team.
too.
We had an absolute blast.
Did you win?
We got second. Oh, no. We got third. And in the DNVR tournament, we got second. So podium weekend for me, but work left to do. I did hit probably the best golf shot I've ever hit in my life.
Really?
Yep. 325-yard par 4. Drove it to 5 feet.
Wow. Tapped
in the eagle.
That's insane. How'd you play on Friday?
Really well. Like I said, we got second in that tournament.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And you saw, apparently I was the closest to getting
You
the
were.
Toyota of anyone.
From what I saw, I was there for a long time.
All right. I was sadly about 8 feet away from glory.
Next time. GGPS, are all the home games sold out? Not that I've seen yet. So get on it now.
I think, was it just season tickets were sold out?
I think so.
Okay.
Ken, have we seen a current player and recruit photo ever taken before? I can't think of one.
Did we get like Chidoze and Chijoke together? You know what I mean?
I
Like
don't think so.
I can't think of one. I don't know if it's never happened.
I mean, we haven't seen Travis in any of them. This is the first time we've seen Shedeur. Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
very cool.
And I loved, because people hate giving Colorado credit, but I loved reading through the quote tweets on that. And like, there were so many people that are like, I'm a USC fan, but this photo goes hard as hell. I can't even deny it. Or like, just people all around the country being like, all right, this is dope. Hats off.
They're all secret fans.
Yeah,
Bro.
yeah,
They can't
it's
stop watching.
It's true.
Sean says, be on the lookout for one of Antonio Cromartie's 10 kids. That's a top cornerback out of Carrollton as well.
Ooh,
Nice.
we would love a Cromartie.
Daniel, when are commitments truly set in stone where the players can't decommit? You got to sign on the dotted line, signing day.
I'm going to be honest with you, Daniel. Never.
Well, yeah, not in this era.
In the in the unlimited transfer era, nothing is ever set in stone. You could literally sign on the dotted line and transfer to another school the next day. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess if the portal was open.
We saw it in our recruiting class this year. Eric Brantley.
Yep.
Trevor, did you see Coach Prime is helping the players start their own podcast on Well Off? I will be tuning into Finisets.
Yeah. It's an awesome idea. Obviously, there's a lot of athletes and players creating their own podcasts these days. It's a great way for them to be able to answer questions, have their own story told in the way that they believe it should be told. I kind of got the feeling like they're going to create a channel.
Yeah.
And then have these guys go and essentially like rotate in and out doing their shows. And then maybe they spin off their own thing off of that. But a really cool idea. And shout out to Trevor Woods, because Coach Prime said, if you're interested in a podcast, I want you to choose 2 of your teammates to join you on it. And we'll set it up for you guys and let you guys do it. And so then they kind of like break the huddle or whatever. And as they're walking away, Trevor goes right up to the camera and just goes, I got dibs on Shedeur and Travis.
He's a smart kid. All right, we got some super chats to get through as well. Oh, we still got the Toyota chat. D-Mac, was there anything this weekend about the new uniforms? Nope.
No, sir.
Nope. We got to wait. Dave, was the pick of the new /gold chrome helmet legit from an in-house source? I have no idea where that came from.
Yeah, that thing just popped up. I never found the source or what it was screenshotted off of or where it came from.
Looks sweet, though.
It did look sweet.
Jay, will Colorado be deep enough to at least make it to the CFP semifinals? Oh, man.
A lot of questions to be answered before
Yes.
we know about that. A lot of football to be played. But
Let's get through September first.
We can say that their top-end talent is up there with anyone in the country.
Of course, of course. Wayne points out the Buford connection too with Mantrez. So.
Yep. It's lockdown Georgia.
Yep. 94's finest with the super chat. Hashtag Operation Protect JuJu in full effect. Absolutely.
Yep. It's the next operation after Operation Next.
But there's pieces in place already. You look at Jordan, you look at Zach, you look at Peyton Kirkland. Like, these are guys who are going to be here for a while.
That was another great clip from the well-off from last night. I think it was from last night. I don't know. I went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Flapjack working with Shane Cokes. Just one-on-one, those two. And then they were in talking to Coach Mo and the strength staff, and they were just talking about what they were doing, and essentially like Shane was talking to him about his stance and his tells, and your chest is a little too far back. It gives me an opportunity to get into it, and it's just like, man, smart move by Zachariah Owens to get in with Shane Cokes, one of the smartest players on the team.
Yep.
A fifth-year senior,
I believe so.
could even be a sixth-year senior, honestly.
Yeah.
Who has seen it all and has a lot of experience. Those two getting just one-on-one reps in after practice. I love to see that. And by the way, Zio, which I think is a sick nickname, maybe even Flapjack's obviously sick too, but Zio, he looks so big next to Shane Cokes, and we know how big Shane Cokes is.
I am buying all the stock there is in Zach Owens.
Love it.
East Coast Kev with the super chat. Your friend at On3 is starting to retract his bull junk he's been saying about Colorado and Coach Prime. These idiots are starting to think twice.
I have one thing to say on this. One thing. And this is not directed towards any one person. But I'll just say this. A lot of people say bad things about Coach Prime because it drives clicks, right?
Right.
A lot of people say good things about Coach Prime because it drives clicks. I worry about if someone says something that we don't like and then we blacklist them forever, then they're disincentivized from ever saying anything nice again.
Right.
Because it just gets thrown aside. Like, there are some people out there who are saying both sides. Hey, I like this. I don't like this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make it so like every national person who's ever been critical doesn't ever want to say anything nice about Colorado because they're like, oh, I don't even get the benefits of that. Unfortunately, it shouldn't always be about clicks in that way. People should just be honest. I don't think everyone is. But I was just thinking about that this weekend as like, I don't know, I forget who it was. Someone said something nice and like a lot of the comments were like, screw you, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't want to make people hesitant to ever say something nice because they're like, oh, I don't want to get jumped on.
Well, and also like some people just don't know. Some people are just ignorant. And I think I understand that there's wanting to teach them and show them the way of how things are actually going, but I don't think that means it's an excuse to dog on them and name call them and blacklist them.
Some people deserve it for what it's worth.
Absolutely. But there are people out there who are genuinely trying to learn about what's going on here.
Or
that
they
just
didn't
don't
know at one point.
Yes.
Now they know. Yeah. So I'm not saying everyone deserves a second chance.
Right.
But I think we can be selective about where we decide to, quote unquote, blacklist people.
Look, man, On3 helped blow up the burger. They helped blow up the marquee, like all the meetup, like.
Yeah, I don't care about On3 or whoever. I'm just speaking in broad terms.
Sure.
Of like, maybe some people deserve a second chance.
94's finest with the super chat. This is a great one. We need to give Coach Phil Loadholt some respect. He's completely revamped that offensive line room. Absolutely.
He was in some of Chauncey's pictures too.
Yes, he has.
Love to see that.
Yep.
And Coach Phil, remember, Coach Prime really took his time with that hire and wanted to make sure he nailed it. And obviously, we haven't seen the on-field results yet. But from a connecting with the players standpoint, from a chemistry standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint, it really seems like it's already paying dividends.
I mean, a lot of guys come here because of Coach Prime, but the offensive lineman he's landed and added since he's been hired, Coach Loadholt, Jordan Seaton, Chauncey Gooden, Tyler Johnson, Justin Mayers, Khalil Benson, Yakari Walker, Zach Owens, Peyton Kirkland.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Keaton with the super chat. How many offensive linemen would you like to see in the 2025 class? Solid 3 or 4 at the very least.
Yeah. I'm not as well versed in like class balance as I used to be, because it used to be like you could just count on a 25-man class or 20 to 20, maybe closer to 20-man class, and you would want like 5 offensive linemen in there, 1 quarterback, a few wide receivers, some defensive backfield guys. Now it's just so different. I can't tell you how many I want because I don't know how many they're going to get in the portal. You know what I mean?
Right.
You only have so many scholarships.
Yep. East Coast Kev with the super chat again, but wait, I thought Coach Prime could only get recruits by doing home visits. That's right.
Enough said.
Oh, man, the narratives that are just getting knocked down one by one as we go through this offseason.
Oh, yeah.
Don Peasy, another great show for the boys on camera and the FDP behind it. We land JuJu. Are we going to hold Ice Shadow, Andy Staples, and the On 3 to the fire for their anti-prime recruiting takes?
Absolutely. Louise, to answer your question,
No.
We're
Absolutely
far
not.
past second.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like I said, not everyone falls into this category.
Yes.
I'm mostly talking about national people who may have not been a believer at first and have since become a believer.
Mm-hmm. That is it. What a show. What a day.
And also, I'm not trying to tell anyone what to do. I'm just saying a thought that I had this weekend.
Right.
About
for sure.
potentially taking away the incentive of promoting good Colorado things and creating more incentive for promoting bad Colorado things because you get labeled as someone on that side of the fence, and then you're like, okay, well, let me just lean in. That's what everyone does these days,
Yeah.
As soon as you get put in a place, you just lean all the way into it, whether
Right.
it's politics or whatever, and then you attract more people that agree with you.
Mm-hmm. We will be back tomorrow. We've got a lot to talk about still. Coach Prime is on Joel Klatt today. Make sure you check that out. We'll talk about a bit of that tomorrow. There's some EA college football stuff to talk about.
Ooh.
We're going to start getting that content rolling out tomorrow. I don't think we're done with any of this visit stuff either, too, from this last weekend. So
And maybe an update on the official visit from the tight end from Alabama?
possibly.
That's a joke. There's no tight end from Alabama that's visiting.
That's about it. You got anything else?
No, just again, shout out to everyone who played their part this weekend.
Yes, absolutely, man.
It was one of one, truly one of one. And I think we'll actually not only look back at it as a transformational time for Colorado, but a transformational time for college football where the next time someone has a big official visit for a player that they really, really want, I wouldn't be surprised to see fans lined up outside the facility.
Yep. Just so happy and proud of Buff Nation, this fan base, what they've become, and the force that you guys have become in person and social. It's been amazing. I've never seen anything like it. A fan base just blow up like this.
I haven't either. It's a beautiful thing.
See you guys tomorrow. Go Buffs.
Go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.